Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 3822 AN. Today's date is January 20th, 2026, and the title of the episode is EU Panics, Trump Makes a Move on the Federal Reserve, Lutnick Says Globalism Has Failed. Now, let me ask you a question. What if you could do more with your retirement funds than just hope for the best? With My Digital Money, you can build a self-directed IRA that goes beyond the usual, combining Bitcoin, gold, and silver for real peace of mind. Imagine Bitcoin's explosive growth, the steady strength of gold, and silver's wildcard potential all working together in one powerful account. While the market zigzags and headlines keep you guessing, these assets help shield your future from inflation and uncertainty. Why let your future hinge on just one bet? With My Digital Money, you're in control. We allow you to invest in crypto, gold, and silver all under one roof, balancing risk and reward and opening the door to bigger opportunities. Don't settle for ordinary. Build a more balanced, resilient portfolio today so you can retire with confidence. Visit My Digital Money and see how easy it is to diversify and protect your retirement today. That is mydigitalmoney.com, or just click the link in the description. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, the private central bank, the World Economic Forum, you could see that they are now panicking. Why? Because the U.S. is going in a completely different direction than the central bankers want. And the EU, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and all the other countries that are part of the central bank system that are pushing the Great Reset, the Green New Scam, you could see that that's what they are doing right now. And we heard from Ursula von der Leyen. She is letting everyone know, yes, this is the direction that we're heading in. And we could see as time goes on, Trump is doing the opposite of what they're planning to do. And this is why you can see France, the UK, Germany, the whole entire European Union. This is why they're so panicked over this, because they're starting to see that, wait a minute, the United States is going to look absolutely incredible. The economy is going to flourish. And basically, everything that Trump has done right now has destroyed everything that we've been building for a very long time. Basically, Howard Lutnick just pretty much came out, and I do believe Trump will be repeating this as he flies off to Davos. He's going to let the central bankers, the globalists, that their entire system has failed, and it can no longer function the way it did. And this is something the central bankers do not want to hear. This is something the central bankers are actually fighting against from the very, very beginning. And Trump now, he has gained, I do believe, the leverage where he's able now to push his agenda on the globalists, on the central bankers, on the EU, and there's really nothing they can do. He's already shut down the Green New Scam. The Great Reset here in the United States is done. And if the EU, if those countries follow suit and they follow the path of the Green New Scam, the Great Reset, what's going to happen is America is going to shine and the EU is going to implode on itself. And it's going to bring down all the other nations, Australia, New Zealand, you name it. They're all going to go down and it's going to be a complete and utter disaster for them. Now, they know this, and this is why they're panicking the way they are. And think about when Trump gets control of the central bank system, which I do believe eventually he will, because right now there's a case in the Supreme Court, and one of the Fed heads is Cook, who actually lied on her form saying that she had two primary residents, and that is fraud. So I do believe in the end, Trump, one way or another, will get control of the central bank system. And once he has control of the central bank system, the deep state players, they're screwed. They know this. And you could see that every day that passes, what's happening right now is Trump's economic system is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And Ursula von der Leyen, she let everyone know that they're going to continue to go down the path of the central bank digital currency or the digital euro, and we don't care what the United States does. And this is going to be a complete and utter disaster for them. But when you look at the Danish, you could see that they're now trying to fight back against what Trump is trying to do. He's trying to acquire Greenland. And you could see the Danes, they don't want this to happen. So what did they decide to do? Well, they're going to sell off all US Treasuries. Who is this going to hurt in the end? Do you really think it's going to hurt the US? Or do you think it's really going to hurt the country, the Danish country, and the people of the Danish country? I do believe it's going to hurt them in the end. The Kobisi letter on X put this out and said, Danish pension fund, Akademiker Pension, announces they will sell all U.S. Treasuries by month end, citing rising credit risk under President Trump. The fund's CIO says U.S. finances are no longer sustainable due to weak fiscal discipline, a softer dollar, and Trump's push for Greenland. And you're going to see that as the United States gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and Trump takes over the central bank, and we go back to sound money, these countries that are trying to push against the U.S., well, they're going to start to realize this was the wrong decision. It's almost like when you look at Germany and you look at the entire Green New scam, they're starting to realize, holy crap, this was the wrong decision. We don't have energy. We can't manufacture. We can't do anything. The country is imploding. Companies are moving out. It's a complete and utter disaster. And look what's happening with India right now. Right now, the EU says they're on the cusp of making the mother of all deals with India. Europe will always choose the world, and the world is ready to choose Europe. So basically, all those workers that Trump stopped coming into the U.S. using all our resources from India, now they're going to be shifted over to the EU. And you think the EU can support all of this? Absolutely not. Wall Street Maverick responded to all of this on X and said, 20 million Indians with fake degrees are about to flood European labor markets. I wonder what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to work out too well for the EU. Because, again, you could see the EU now is siding with China. The EU is trying to stay afloat, and they're pushing forward the Great Reset and the Green New Scam. The one that they mentioned, and I probably should say Klaus Schwab, Prince Charles at the time, back in March of 2020. Yes, the EU was all part of this. They're continuing their path to move forward with the Great Reset, which means they're heading into a digital euro. And this is what Ursula von der Leyen says. She compares the shock of delinking the U.S. dollar from gold and the new global order it created as a lesson that geopolitical shocks can and must serve as an opportunity. The seismic change we are going through today is an opportunity. So when we came off the dollar, we saw massive inflation, the currency devalued, and actually kicked off their entire new global order. So basically what she's saying is that now with the U.S. and what Trump is doing right now, how we're going back to sound money, they're going to try to push their part of the world into the digital euro. And basically this is going to actually end up destroying their entire economic system. Because once again, the people are going to feel the pain. And remember, the United States has the leverage over the EU. And as they move down this path, it's going to be a complete and utter disaster. I mean, all you got to do is look at Germany. They said, oh no, we're following the Green New Scam. We're going to get rid of our coal-fired plants. We're going to get rid of gas and oil. We're going to get rid of the nuclear power plants. And it's going to be absolutely incredible because we're going green. And you know what's happening right now? Let's see, manufacturers are moving to Hungary. Manufacturers are moving to the U.S. Trump put tariffs on Germany. Electricity costs are skyrocketing. They can't basically produce anything. And now they're realizing, wow, this was the wrong direction. The same thing is going to happen out in Europe. Actually, Europe is going to implode under the weight of their stupidity. And I do believe that's exactly what's going to happen. On the other side, we're going to see the United States start to really take off. We're already starting to see this. And actually, as we pull ourselves away from the central bank system, as we pull ourselves away from borrowing, and we move from a debt system into an income system, that's when people are really going to see the difference. And once again, you could see Trump is now setting everything up for this moment. He is now getting rid of a lot of the government jobs, transitioning them into the private jobs. He is now cutting budgets left and right. So this way the tariff system can be fully operational. Eventually, what he's going to do, he's going to wean us off of the income tax and give the buying power back to the people. He's already doing this. We're going to see this with the tax refund. We're already seeing it with low fuel costs. We're going to continue to see this as time goes on. And all those students who thought, oh, I don't have to pay back my student loan. Well, it looks like that bill is coming due, and everything that Biden has done, Trump is now reversing it all. You went to school. You have to take accountability. If there are no jobs, maybe you studied the wrong major. Maybe you were brainwashed into doing all of this. But now you must work and you must pay back your student loan. The people of this country are not responsible for paying back the loans that these people took out for gender studies and other things. Peter Sayong put this out and said, the student loan free ride is over. Trump is going after 10 million student loan deadbeats Biden was targeting with a $1.6 trillion bailout paid by blue collars. 5.3 million haven't paid a dime in 6 years. Worse default rates than credit cards. Absolutely. Because once again, what did the deep state players, what did the D's sell these kids? A false bill of goods. That's what they actually sold them. And now you can see that, well, you need to reap what you sow. And listen, you went to school for these majors. There are no jobs out there. So now they're going to have to make a choice. Are they going to go back to school and take out more debt? Or are they going to actually learn a real skill and work? Because now you have payments coming due. Now, most of the people will probably say, who cares? I'm not going to pay this back. But again, over time, it's going to affect them because this doesn't go away. It's not like a credit card. So let's see how this all plays out. And actually, it's actually showing the young generation it's time. Hey, listen, if you're over 40 and planning to retire someday, the window to protect what you've built may be smaller than you realize. Here's a question most people never ask. Is your portfolio built for what's coming next? Many investors in their 40s and 50s discover they have little to no exposure to precious metals. That means their savings are largely tied to markets, policies, and paper assets, with very little protection if conditions change. As retirement moves from someday to on the horizon, protecting what you have already built becomes just as important as growing it. That's where Noble Gold Investments come in, helping investors reduce risk by adding physical gold to their portfolios. Right now may be a smart time to talk with Noble Gold Investments. No pressure, no sales gimmick, just clear answers and strategy built around our goals. Visit X22Gold.com and build your portfolio for the long term. That's X22Gold.com, or just click the link in the description. And remember, past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions. That you are held accountable for what you have done here. And think about it. Charlie Kirk was going around to the colleges saying, college is a waste of money. And all the students argued with him. Well, now they're going to start to realize what's really going on here. And we could see that everything that Trump has done, he is now setting the stage for the economy to take off. And think about it. Low fuel prices, tax refunds, lower interest rates, a cap on credit cards. This all goes to buying power. And if people have buying power, people feel good. And think about all the jobs that Trump is creating right now. Right now, there's a lot of construction jobs that are going to be created because we have to build the manufacturing plants. But eventually, we're going to have those jobs in the manufacturing plants. And as the jobs pick up, people are going to want to purchase homes because they're making more money. As they get their buying power back, they're going to want to buy a home because they're making more money. They're feeling good. And Trump right now has lowered the mortgage rate. During the Biden administration, and Trump put this out on Truth, it was around 8%. Since Trump has taken office, mortgage rates are down to 5.7%. So once again, Trump is actually bringing the rates down. And I do believe these rates are going to go even further. And think about it. When he actually, once the banks agreed and Bill Pulte puts everything together, and we have 50-year mortgages, I know people are like, oh, no, that's going to be ridiculous. We're going to owe so much. But you have to remember where this is all going. First of all, most of the people do not own their homes for 50 years. Second of all, when we go back to sound money and you get your buying power back and you have a fixed mortgage, it's going to feel absolutely incredible because if you're making $80,000, it's going to feel like $160,000. If you're making $200,000, it's going to feel like $400,000. That's what happens when you get your buying power back. It's almost like when the central bankers took us off the gold standard and you had a fixed mortgage of $300 and you're making $5,000 a year. Well, all of a sudden your wages increased because they had to adjust everything, but your mortgage stayed the same. You see, when Trump gives you your buying power back and starts to pay off the debt, what happens? The money that you're making right now goes up and your buying power becomes very, very strong, which means that fixed rate mortgage seems like absolutely nothing. And eventually what's going to happen, once all the debt is paid off, once he gets rid of all the income tax, you're going to have so much money that you'll probably be able to purchase the house all in cash. But let's see how this all plays out. This is going to be very, very interesting. But you can see at this point in time, Trump is going after the Federal Reserve. He needs control of the Federal Reserve for the next part of the plan. And I do believe he's going to get it, because what do we see happening right now? Well, the Supreme Court right now is hearing the case in regards to Cook and how she fraudulently represented out-of-state condo as her principal residence. Trump, he put this out on Truth. He said, it's not a mistake that she got loans 14 days apart. June 18, 2021, principal residence, Michigan. July 2nd, 2021, principal residence, Atlanta condo. It's fraud. And when you look at the signatures, they're exactly the same. It's her handwriting. She committed fraud. She knew exactly what she was doing. I mean, she's a Fed head. You're trying to tell me she doesn't have the knowledge and the wherewithal to understand that you can't have two principal residences? Of course she did this. To get what? Lower interest rates? Well, once again, Trump has caught her in the act, and I do believe she will be removed. I do believe Jerome Powell, I think he's sitting in on the court hearings, and I do believe Trump is going to have the leverage here, and Cook is going to be removed from the Federal Reserve, which is actually going to give him control. Because again, what is this all about? This is all about getting rid of the central bank system. This is all about giving the control back to we the people. And how do you do that? Well, you got to get rid of the debt system, the open-ended credit card where we just borrow and borrow and borrow, and people are enslaved, and you have to work harder and harder and harder every single day. And fraud is created by the central bank system because, again, you have criminals running the country. So once all that is removed, the people are going to feel absolutely incredible. And think what Trump has done across the world. He has basically shut down the globalist system. And now he's in the process of shutting down the central bank system. And we know that Trump and his team, they are now heading to the World Economic Forum in Davos. And Howard Lutnick, he's letting everyone know that globalism has failed. And the United States is now moving away from the globalist system. And this is very, very important, because what is Trump doing right now? Instead of getting all our products from all across the world, we will be producing our own products. We'll be going back to sound money. And right now you could see the EU, they're in trouble because they've been destroying their own energy policy, which means if you're destroying your own energy policy, you cannot produce anything. Because if you go windmill, solar panels, and you get rid of nuclear power, coal-fired plants, gas, oil, you name it, you will not be able to manufacture whatsoever. And now we have Trump and team, they're going out there to let the deep state players, the central bankers, the globalists know that their entire system is done for. We're moving into a new world, a world without a central bank, a world without the globalists, a world without the deep state players. And this new world, we, the people, will control it. And Trump right now, what is he doing? He's putting everything into place. He's building the foundation. And now he's going to be building that building on top of that foundation. It's a very, very strong foundation. And it's going to go up pretty darn quickly. Because if you have a sturdy foundation, you can put the building up pretty darn fast. And that's why during this year, you're going to see this entire economic system take off. Now, there's a lot of people out there saying, well, I'm still struggling. Everything's still high. Inflation really didn't go down. Remember, inflation doesn't go down. You can mitigate it by having low fuel costs. You can mitigate it by removing taxes. You can mitigate it, but again, inflation is cumulative. This is the way the central bank is structured. Can Trump stop the inflation from going up? Yes, he can. Will the other inflation go away? No. Can he give you more buying power by taking gas and bringing it from $4 to $2 or $2 to $1? Absolutely. Can you give you more money to fight the inflation that's already there by giving you incredible tax refunds? Absolutely. Can he fight inflation by giving you a better job with higher wages? Absolutely. How do we get rid of inflation completely? We need to pay off the debt. We need to reverse everything the central bank has done. And then the buying power comes back to the people. So for people to understand inflation, it's pretty much like if someone is 150 pounds and they gain 100 pounds in 2 years. So now they weigh 250. And instead of putting on 50 pounds a year, they're only putting on 5 pounds a year. Now, does all that weight that you already put on, does that go away? Or are you mitigating the amount of weight that you're putting on? You're no longer putting on 50, you're only putting on 5, but you're still adding 5 to your weight. So the only way to get rid of the weight is to go on a calorie deficit and work out and things like that. And then you could start to lose the weight. The same thing with inflation. Inflation has been cumulative since 1971 when we came off the gold standard. It's about 3,000% inflation. This is why when you hear, oh, look, we're at 1% inflation or 2% inflation, that's why we never go back to 1971 prices, because you don't get rid of the inflation. It stays. You're just adding inflation slower. That's all you're doing. So for Trump to reverse this, he has to pay off the debt. And I do believe this is why he's been talking about paying off the debt. And I do believe this is why he started the stable coin. This is why he's looking at crypto. This is why I do believe he's going to be revaluing gold and allowing gold to move up and up and up and up. And I do believe it's going to continue to move up. I do believe silver is going to continue to move up. And eventually, we're probably going to be around $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 worth of gold, and probably 500, 600. Again, this is my opinion. But if you look at the calculations going way back to 1913, that's where we really stand right now. And when we revalue the gold and we revalue the silver, well, everything changes. It actually gives Trump even more leverage. I mean, if you look at gold right now, it's around 4,700 plus per ounce. If you look at silver, what is it, 90 plus per ounce? I mean, just go back a couple of years. I mean, I remember back in 2012, 2015, 2013, 14, 15, silver was what, between $15 and $20 an ounce? Gold was what, $1,500, $1,400 an ounce? Everything has changed. And I do believe it's going to continue to change as time goes on, especially when you see the rest of the world falter and you see the U.S. shine like we've never seen before. And when people realize the U.S. is heading in the right direction, and when people realize that Trump is removing the central bank system, that's when gold is really going to start to move up. I mean, it's moving up now, but it's really going to shine. And I do believe when Trump says we're entering the golden age, we're truly entering the golden age. And what does that really mean? It means you get your buying power back. It means we go back to sound money. It means you're no longer a slave to a central bank system. That is what it means. And that's what people are going to experience it. And when people experience it, they're never, ever going to forget it. Because when you're making a lot more money and your buying power is returned, think about everyone that has a mortgage today. The mortgage is going to feel like absolutely nothing to them. And people are going to say, holy crap, my $1,500 mortgage, it's like nothing. My $2,000 mortgage, it's like nothing. My $3,000 mortgage, it's like nothing. Because once you get your buying power back, people are going to go, holy crap. And it's very easy to say. All you got to do is look at what Trump is doing right now. Once he moves forward with removing the income tax, those people at the lower income bracket, the middle income bracket, all of a sudden they're going to get $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. When you get that money back and you don't have to pay income tax anymore, well, how does that mortgage payment look? Looks pretty darn nice, doesn't it? Looks like, wow, I can afford this no problem now. And actually, I have a lot more money left over. Now think about when he removes the inflation and he gives you your full buying power back. Everything is about to change. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.